What's going on, everybody? So today I'll be going over some of Cipher's kit that has been leaked a couple weeks ago, and I have to say this is one of the most I think this is the most interesting kit I have ever seen in the game. So here's here's how it works. So essentially, when a first, oh my god, I actually don't know where to begin. So Cipher, right? When Cipher attacks an enemy, usually it'll be with her skill, right? Because you won't be able to get her ult up at the start of a battle. So when you attack an enemy with Cipher, let's say you use her skill, right? Use her skill at the beginning of the battle against an enemy. You will do just like a regular blast hit, right? Like something that Jinglu can do, where you do damage to the main target and then blast damage to the adjacent enemies. But here's the thing. When you attack with Cipher, when you use her skill, I think it works with her basic attack as well. But mainly you're going to want to use the skill because it will do more damage because of the multipliers, which we'll get into later. But when you use Cipher's skill, that damage is actually recorded. And it will be, you know, a certain percentage of that will be applied as true damage when Cipher uses her ultimate, and this refreshes every single time you attack with Cipher. Now what's cool about this is whenever this happens, you know, an enemy will be inflicted with a status effect which doesn't really do anything other than whenever an ally attacks that enemy, Cipher launches a follow-up attack. So you're probably going to want more AoE oriented characters with Cipher. I think you might want to use Cipher and then potentially either a sub DPS or another DPS. You could use Cipher as the sub DPS and pair her with Acheron. That's just my initial impressions. It's a funky kit, bro. I'm actually I'm just lost. I'm lost. But there's more. So let's talk about traces. When Cipher is on the field, all enemies' defense is just reduced by a certain percentage, and this is not a global passive because Cipher needs to be on the field. Okay, so when Cipher is on the field, all enemies' defense is just reduced. No debuff needed, just they're already debuffed just because Cipher is there on the field. Now here's her second trace does what I said, right? Whenever you attack with Cipher, that percentage of that damage is recorded for the ult. But trace number 3 though, just okay. It's, oh my god, this is so weird. Cipher's follow-up attack damage is just increased by a certain percentage, but also the recording rate of the thing, right? It's called Wealth Bond, is further boosted by Cipher's crit rate. Meaning, and this is like when you use her ult. So the way it works, okay, from my understanding, and this is really weird. It's a weird kit. When you use Cipher's skill, that damage is recorded, and when you use Cipher's ult, it'll just do normal damage, right? But there will be extra damage, right? True damage from the recorded, a certain percentage of the recorded damage from when you used her skill, and that true damage percentage increases. It scales with Cipher's crit rate, not her crit damage, not her attack, not her energy regen. It scales with her crit rate. This is one of the weirdest kits I have ever seen, and I'm here for it, bro. I'm probably not gonna go for it, but I think this is a really cool kit. She has some cool stuff with her technique as well, where she just gets increased movement speed. She automatically collects treasures when walking by them. You know, we have treasure trackers in the game now, so this doesn't really mean that much. It's still a cool little passive as well, but we don't really care about that. This has never been that heavy of an exploration game up until like Amphoreas came out, but still, now I'm getting sidetracked. I think Cipher has a really weird kit, but let's talk about speculation. Let's talk about theory crafting. Let's talk about team comp team synergies. So the first thing that I can see Cipher being paired with, and I think this is the most likely, would be a sub DPS, you know, as a sub DPS for Acheron, right? Because, you know, the enemies are being debuffed with Cipher just being on the field. She does extra damage whenever Acheron attacks. Acheron can attack all 5 enemies at once, but still, I don't think Cipher can, but still, it's nice knowing that Acheron can attack 3 or more enemies nonetheless. And overall, I think it'll work. You know, Acheron doesn't do true damage, but it doesn't really make that big of a difference, right? Because Cipher will be there to debuff the enemies, you know, shred their defense and also just do damage alongside Acheron. So I think she'll be cool as like a sub DPS. She doesn't really lean that much on the support side, but still debuffing, you know, sub DPSing. I think Cipher will fare pretty well with Acheron, but she could also kind of be like a main DPS. But I feel like with that passive, with her doing the follow-up attacks whenever an ally attacks an enemy, I feel like you're gonna want like another DPS on the field. So I don't know who you would use for that role, if not like Acheron, like maybe Jade for the extra speed increase. I actually have no idea, because Cipher has like a weird kit. Maybe her teammates, her best in slot teammates, are coming in future patches. Who knows? Maybe Hyacinth will work with her. But this is a really funky kit. Would I personally go for her as of right now? No, but she has a really cool kit. If Finon wasn't coming in version 3.4, I would strongly consider going for her as of right now, just because of how fun her kit looks. She does debuff. I think she's the first ever Nihility unit that can do follow-up attacks too. But still, she's kind of got a little bit of everything other than like maybe some kind of HP scaling. But still, a great rate scaling. I don't know. I think that's weird. Usually I make guide videos, but I don't know. Like I'm lost. I don't know what to say. She's got a weird kit. I think she'll be cool. Do I think that she'll be meta? Probably not. I think that she is just kind of like a for fun character, right? You'll probably do good in the end game with her, and hey, maybe she will actually be a best in slot Nihility for Acheron. Maybe they are trying to buff Acheron in this way, right? So then Acheron's best in slot team comp will probably be like Acheron herself, Aventurine, Zhao Didi, and then now Cipher. Who knows? I'm just speculating based on what I'm seeing right now, because Cipher is Nihility at the end of the day. So that's really nice with Acheron, who is suffering from a lack of best in slot teammates, especially ones that most people will have, because I bet you most people don't have Zhao Didi. But still, I'm lost, bro. I'm lost. I don't know what to say. I don't think she will work in dot team comps. She is Nihility, but still, I don't see her. Actually, maybe, but I don't know. I think dot would take too long to get the follow-up attacks going, because they kind of attack a little slow. I don't think she'll work that well in dot team comps, but I think she would be an option at the very least. Like Kafka, Black Swan, and then like Cipher, and maybe Aventurine, Link Shot, whatever sustain you use. I don't know. Now I'm just making stuff up on the fly, but that's about it. I'll see ya. Goodbye.